This update is sponsored by Progressive. Padres won last night, or one game back of the Dodgers for the NL West lead, taking on the Giants in Game 2 tonight. That game will get going at 6:45. It is basically a pick-em with the Giants being a slight favorite at -115. Nestor Cortez, the newly acquired pitcher for the Padres, will be going for them, and Robbie Ray will be going for the Giants. This update has been presented by Progressive.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
No fluff, just facts.
Taween Walker.
And this is knucklehead talk.
What are you laughing about over there?
Say that name one more. Did you say Taween?
I don't know. It's Tajeen Walker.
What did he say?
I'm going to mess that up, okay? Now I'm losing credibility.
We're going to need a full recap because everyone stopped listening after you said Taween Walker.
I think that's his name.
No, it's Taiwan Walker. Pronounced like a necktie. Juan. Yes, it's Taiwan Walker.
Get out of here. There's a J in it, bro.
There's also a J in Juan.
How am I supposed to know that?
English, do you speak it?
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Flex Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going. It's a Tuesday in San Diego. Taiwan Walker. How did he do last night? I hope he was awesome.
He actually was fantastic.
Oh, that was one of the funniest
CJ
things.
exposing me, not letting it go.
I mean, every time I've needed a smile over the last 24 hours, I'll be honest, all I've thought is Taween Walker. It made me so happy yesterday. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Excellent work, as always, to our big voice guy, our imaging guy, CJ, who is throwing some heat today on the mound, much like Yu Darvish was throwing pretty well last night. Now, I'll be honest, if you were watching the Padres game, and you were watching Yu Darvish pitch, I don't know how comfortable you actually felt. He didn't walk anybody. He gave up 4 hits. It felt like there was guys on base a lot. He only surrenders 1 run on that Rafael Devers homer. But like Yu Darvish's stat line says he pitched great yesterday. But how much of it is that the Giants have a terrible offense who will not hit anybody right now. So Yu Darvish, congratulations. You feel like if you have a pitcher who's struggling a little bit, just throw him against the Giants and things will be okay. And the Padres get the win. And they do move just 1 game back of the Dodgers here ahead of a weekend series against the Dodgers this weekend. There's a lot of excitement about this Padres team right now, who've won 12 of their last 15. You feel like the offense is clicking. The moves that A.J. Preller made at the deadline all seem to be working. Freddie Fermin with a home run last night. Vibes are ridiculously positive right now for the San Diego Padres. Can I caution Padre fans, though, Sammy? Is that okay? Can I do that?
You can do whatever you want to.
Can we stop it with the memes of, or not even memes, but real pictures of the Western Metal Supply Building already turned in to Western Division champs? Can we stop it with that? Because the jinx is real. Putting stuff out there is real. The crying Kershaw meme on the video board at Petco Park did ruin the Padres a couple years ago. So can we just maybe knock it off with some of the memes that are floating around right now, some of the Photoshop, some of the throwback pictures, because they ain't done yet. There's still a long way to go in this regular season, and the Dodgers are still a very good ball club who are struggling right now in a big way. I didn't catch any of the Dodgers game last night, Sammy. Do you know what happened there?
Yeah, Yamamoto surprisingly actually got blasted, one of the Dodgers aces in the first inning, or give 2 runs, and then they got bases loaded there in the 4th. They kind of came back, made the score look better, 7-4. Muncy and Ohtani hit a home run. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Fletch. It's great vibes San Diego right now. The team certainly looks like they're a legit threat. They are right there for the Dodgers. But before those pictures start getting posted, let's also remember, let's caution, I know the team looked different. This team is 2-5 against the Dodgers this year. Right. So if you go over the next week and you, out of 6 games, if you go 5-1, you capture a tiebreaker against them, or you go 4-2, you want to start puffing out your chest a little bit. That's great. But they did beat the Padres in the playoffs last year. They are 5-2 again. So before, again, everyone's excited. It's great, but it comes down to this weekend, and it adds even more drama for maybe the casual baseball fan who's maybe not a Padre fan, maybe they're not a Dodger fan, who get to watch this series this weekend. That's going to be electric, and 2 evenly matched teams. But yeah, I think the vibes are good right now. But I'm with you. I think this weekend's obviously going to tell us a lot.
Some brakes need to be pumped. That's all I'm saying. It's fun to be excited. The Padres are 67-52. That's incredible for where they're at right now. 1 game back in the division. You've won 3 in a row. You've won 12 out of your last 15. Vibes should be at an all-time high right now. But let's just not throw anything out there that might, establish some sort of curse or some sort of jinx. I don't know how big of a fan I am of that. I am a big fan of Freddie Fermin. God, oh God, was Coach Quintero right when he came on our show on trade deadline day. The Padres had just made the move for Freddie Fermin. And Sammy, I think you, me, Jim Russell, all of us were like, what the hell? Ryan Berger and Steven Kolick for a backup catcher? I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. And then Coach Quintero came on, and what did he say? He said Freddie Fermin is awesome. He's had his eye on this guy for a while, said he's productive at the plate. He's great behind the dish. Freddie Fermin might be my favorite pickup at the trade deadline, and he proved it again last night with some clutch hitting. I love the use of the bullpen last night, only having to go 3 guys, Estrada, Miller, Suarez, and they all were shut down actors yesterday. That was about as perfect as a baseball game could go outside of one fan screaming behind home plate, but we don't need to get into that, right?
No, they already got enough publicity.
It's already viral.
But and Freddie Fermin, yeah, it's certainly
awesome.
Was a pickup that maybe the casual fan didn't know. Fletch, you and I'm not going to sit here and act like I knew, Freddie Fermin's OPS before they got him.
I think I called him Freddie Furman for the first week.
But like that might have been the most crucial position of need, because even though, it's the sexy pickup is Mason Miller, of course. But the bullpen was already very good, and they got exponentially better and really elevated themselves to the best bullpen in baseball. I think we can comfortably say that. But Freddie Fermin, I mean, let's not forget, even though Elias Diaz was playing better at like the 2 weeks after the trade deadline, or the 2 weeks after the All-Star break before the trade deadline, that was a major position of weakness. And listen, I'm not saying Freddie Fermin's an all-star, because he's not, but he's someone who can give you some production, something at the back end of the lineup. Whereas before, Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado were just simply not getting it done, and they weren't getting it done on a consistent enough basis. Now you have someone that when they come up, you're like, this guy could actually come up in a big way. And certainly last night he did with the 2-run homer.
Good times for the Padres, man. We'll get back to him coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, it is time for the Big Three, where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. And by the way, the text line asked for it yesterday. We will deliver it today. We're going fantasy football talk at 12:30.
Oh,
we are 22 days away from the start of the NFL season. That means your group texts are starting to blow up. I know mine are. I got 3 different ones going on my phone right now for the 3 different fantasy football leagues I'm in coming up for this year. So we're going to throw out some advice, maybe throw out some thoughts, because I don't think there is a single person on this planet who has a consensus number 1 overall pick. So get yours loaded up on the text line right now, 70470. Start your message with team. Who is the consensus number 1 overall pick for fantasy football in 2025-2026. Sammy, enough wasting time. Let's smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you would like to watch the show, we got a couple ways for you to do so. On X, at Fletch and Sammy, you can find us there. We'd love a follow and a repost. And on YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760, we would love a subscription there. That one stays live from 12 to 6 every single day. John and Jim take it over right after we get off. Sammy, where are we going with the Big Three?
All right, we're heading to the NFC. Matthew Stafford, some odd news, been dealing with a back injury, has not practiced all camp. Even today, he hasn't. Sean McVay keeps assuring everyone that he's absolutely fine and going to be playing in week 1. Also, Jordan Love, quarterback for the Packers, had surgery on his left thumb today. So to say all that, who is the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
Okay, so Jordan Love looks like he's going to be fine for week 1. At least that's what they said.
Yeah, they said it's minor.
The Matthew Stafford thing has me scratching my head. He was supposed to be back at practice this week. As of today, he still has not practiced. And it was a aggravated disc in his back, which could mean a lot of different things. Is it a slip disc? Because that's very different than an aggravated disc. And he got an epidural, which I thought was for pregnant ladies, but I guess it's for Matthew Stafford as well.
For pregnant ladies.
That's what it is, or people giving birth. But the Rams thing is sketchy, and the Rams are a team I liked a lot heading into the season, not if they don't have a fully healthy Matthew Stafford. In the NFC, top competition for the Eagles as of right now, it's pretty easy to say if the Washington Commanders don't have a massive fall off from where they were last year, that's a team on the rise. And I know you're going to roll your eyes, Sammy, but the San Francisco 49ers do have a roster with health that can be an absolute contender in the NFC. I think the Detroit Lions are up there. I think the Packers are up there. The NFC is a little bit better than people are giving it credit coming into this year, or at least a little bit more even.
Well, this is the Lions' year. Like if you the Lions went from the feel-good story a couple of years ago to everyone felt like you're rooting for the Lions when they got in. They're the lovable underdog. They really have never won anything. They won the 2 playoff games. They beat the Rams, and it felt like kind of a historic moment for that city. I remember Mike Sirico getting choked up on the broadcast. He was literally from Detroit. Then they beat Tampa Bay, and then they lose it to Fletcher's Niners in the NFC Championship game. Last year, they were they were supposed to be, this is the team that's going to do it. They're going to go, and they get upset by Washington. And now a lot of that had to do with defensive injuries, but this is kind of the last year of having.
They do get Aiden Hutchinson back this year. That's huge.
It's huge. They get their 1, 2, 3, and 3 pass rushers all back this year. But this is the last year before you got to pay everyone. Jamison Williams is coming up. Amon-Ra St. Brown's coming up. You got to make a decision on Jared Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs not too far along on a contract. Aiden Hutchinson. So this whole kind of youth movement that they drafted in the NFC, it certainly is their time. It looks like it sets up for them, but I think they went from, hey, they're just good to be here, win a playoff game, to they actually need to go win a Super Bowl. The Rams feel like if they're healthy, they are the most complete team to beat the Eagles. But that's concerning. I mean, he's a 36-year-old quarterback
who wasn't healthy for a game last year, it felt like.
No, and is dealing with a lower back injury. I know Dan Orlovsky was talking about how he doesn't see it as a problem, but that seems like a problem to me. Washington does feel like the fun, sexy pick, but then we have seen this before. We've seen Houston when the first year, everyone was kind of like, they're a dark horse kid at the Super Bowl. That didn't happen. Washington, I do think Jaden Daniels elevates that team to another level than a lot of other quarterbacks and teams have.
But is he going to have a slide back here?
Right. And also, is Terry McLaurin going to be there? I mean, he was a major catalyst of why they beat the Lions. So I would go with the Lions, and they certainly have the most pressure on them to win. All right, let's head to the MLB. So the playoff schedule dropped today, way out for October. The World Series is going to start on October 24th. Now, that's regardless of whether the championship series end early. Now, usually the MLB will do a thing where they will move up the championship series if the NLCS and the ALDS or ALCS get done early. They are not going to do that. So if these teams were to win, if a certain team were to win in 4 games or 5 games, there could be a week off between the end of the championship series and the World Series. Flesh, do you have a problem with this?
I do. So last year, the gap between the Dodgers beating the Mets in the 4-2 series in the NLCS, the final game for that was on October 20th. The first game of the World Series was not until October 25th. So that's 5 days. 5 days in between the final game, game 6 of the NLCS, and game 1 of the World Series. That's too much time. I'm sorry, NBA does this too, and I got a big problem with it with them too. But you are literally, if you're baseball, competing with the NFL in those moments. And last year was Yankees-Dodgers, right? Like last year was huge. If you don't have that this year, say it is Padres-Blue Jays, say it is Blue Jays-Brewers, you're going to have a big problem on your hands asking people to switch that gear back to baseball. 5 days is too much time. It's 2025, man. We got short attention spans these days. You will get people who forget that baseball is even happening if you make everybody wait 5 days. I got a big problem with this.
I completely agree to everything you just said. The MLB, if you're doing this, is certainly hoping, this is the MLB, is hoping that it's the Dodgers-Yankees, something like that, where that is sellable. People are going to tune into that because you kind of engage the coast. The worst matchup, which it very well could be, is Blue Jays-Brewers. Right. If you're asking people in the United States to tune in during the NFL, and let's stop kidding around. The NFL's king. It's not even close. They don't care. They put games on Christmas where the NBA is. The MLB tries to desperately put postseason games at night on Sunday night, staggering it after the Sunday night game halfway through so they can get people for the end of it. Everyone is working around the NFL, and it's not even close in terms of ratings. So to ask people to wait a week, because this was a major problem, like you said, in the NBA playoffs last year, in the NBA finals last year, with a matchup. It ended up being a good series, actually, because it went 7 games. But Indiana and Oklahoma City, not big markets, not a bunch of big names that you would know if you were a casual basketball fan. You don't have your LeBrons, your Currys, your guys like that everyone knows. And then it felt like there were 3 days off in between the whole time. And it's like, oh, yeah, wait, they're playing tonight? It's not an every night thing or every other night thing. I think this is a real mistake for baseball, and I think it could reflect in the ratings.
Now, if you're a Padres fan and the San Diego Padres are there, you don't care, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be watching every second of every minute of coverage that there is. But it's not the problem if you're a Padres fan or a Blue Jays fan or a Brewers fan and your team is there. It's for everybody else.
Well, look at the Rangers Diamondback series. That was one of the lowest rated World Series of all time, because you're asking you got the Southwest. Like why does a kid in Virginia care about that?
Like you're taking multiple days off in between games, almost a week off between series. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All
People will forget it's going on.
Yeah. Third story quickly. Micah Parsons. Saw this on First Take this morning. Is it a bigger risk for the Cowboys to pay him $45 million a year and have all your money tied up in 4 players, or is it a bigger risk to trade him?
All right. Well, first of all, it depends on where you trade him, right? If you're trading him with the AFC, you don't have to worry about him as much. If you somehow are trading him with the NFC because that's your only option, Cowboys fans are going to be pissed. I will say there is a risk component to paying him because so much money is going to be locked up with so few players. I think that they have to do it. I really do. The Dallas fan base market lost Luka Doncic this year. And I know these are two completely separate entities, but it's the same freaking town, man. If you're asking another beloved superstar to kick rocks and get traded, it's a bad look for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's not their fault. It's Nico Harrison's fault. But you still are in that same market. It matters to me. It does.
Totally. And if you were going to trade Micah Parsons, why didn't you do this before the draft?
Thank you.
It would be one thing if you were trying to rebuild the Cowboys, which I don't think would be the worst thing for them to really kind of start from the ground up. But guess what? You paid CeeDee Lamb a bunch of money. You paid Dak Prescott a bunch of money. You paid Trayvon Diggs a bunch of money. I'm not saying not paying CeeDee Lamb or Trayvon Diggs. They're great players. But you're paying these guys like it's win now. And the best player of all of them that no one can even argue you don't want to pay, who's really been the loyal soldier. Jerry Jones completely effed this thing up. He could have had him for $36 million last year per year. Now the contract's at 45 because the market is reset. This is the Cowboys doing Cowboy things, and they're caught in a bad place.
Maybe they should just not pay him and then franchise tag him and franchise tag him again. That's probably the prudent thing to do if you're the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't think Micah would play. I think he's about player empowerment. I think he would sit. Which sucks, but that's probably the hand that's going to unfold here. All right, quick break. Back to the Padres we go. Coming up next, we got Nestor Cortez on the mound tonight for the Pods. Can they make this so they are a game up on the Dodgers by the time these two teams face off? Coming up on Friday. We'll explain how next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy, how'd you know this was my walkout song at my wedding?
That's tough.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. And hey, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference in our lives, who believes in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Think a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day is Tammy Pence, who teaches at the Leadership Academy in Oceanside. People are telling us she's a great teacher, always feels proud of how ready her students are for the next school year. What she tries to do the most is to make sure all of her kids know how much she cares and believes in them. Congrats to Tammy. You are in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. My wife is actually setting up her classroom right now. I know a lot of San Diego Unified went back to school this week. My wife works out in Lakeside, and they are getting back next week. So she's literally in her classroom right now, moving
I used to be
everything around.
so depressed around this time of year.
Yeah, same.
I used to be like, not to
You
disrespect.
think it's bad for you? Imagine what it's like for teachers.
No, I'm not
having to put up
disrespecting.
with you.
I'm not disrespecting teachers and stuff like that. I mean, they're doing all the hard work. But I used to be the night before going back to school was like the worst night of the year. So just think on that if you're going back to school tomorrow. See if you can relate.
Yeah, maybe, give your teacher a nice little present. She has to put up with your snot-nosed kid all year long, like Sammy was. Hey, I did just want to take a second. I don't want to put her on blast. I really don't.
Ooh.
It was tough to watch the Padres game last night. Like, if you were watching,
yeah.
It was nonstop from start to finish. And look, I love fans. She was a Padres fan. She was going crazy. She's very proud of her team. Tough to watch.
Okay, can I it's funny that I flipped over the Dodger Angel game at one point.
I put it on mute. I'll be honest.
There was a guy who was doing it at the Dodger Angel game
Really?
too. Now he kind of shut up because I think the security went and was like, hey, you need to be quiet. But listen, I don't want to tell people how to act. Okay, I get it. You're having fun. You're at a game.
You're supposed to cheer. You're at a game.
My one thing is this though, and I've gone to games with people sometimes who we've gotten into arguments with this. Just because you pay for seats somewhere doesn't give you the entitlement to just do whatever you want to. I have friends that do this who are like obnoxious, that are crazy. I'm like, I won't sit with you because they're like, well, I paid for the ticket. I can do whatever I want. I'm like, no, you also have to show some decorum. You know what I mean?
Look, she's cheering, man. She was happy. She's proud of her Padres, and I get it. That's fun.
Baseball, though, it's so annoying because
if
you
you're
can
around,
hear what's happening.
Yeah, and on the broadcast, dude, I think Don and Mudd even made reference to it last night at one point. On the broadcast, you gotta someone text her next time, please. That was so loud.
Let's take the alcohol away.
It was crazy, man. I don't even know if she was drunk. She was just loud.
That's worse. If you're not drunk and you're acting like that,
she loves her Padres. Imagine paying that much for those seats right behind home plate.
Well, that's the problem.
Sitting there.
This is why people would ask me, they'd be like, when the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl and stuff, they'd be like, oh, you're going to go. I'm like, no, because that's a prime example of something that would drive me nuts.
Yes.
If I paid a bunch of money for tickets and I'm dealing with someone next to me, I don't care if they're the same fan as my team or opposite. It drives me through the roof.
All right. So I did a little bit of digging, and the Dodgers are playing against the Angels right now. And it's a big series because obviously the NL West is kind of in swing right now. Padres only one game back. The Angels are one of the few teams in all of Major League Baseball who have a career-long winning record against the Dodgers. The Angels have a 79-73 record versus the Dodgers all time. Now, the Angels have only been around since what, 97-ish, 96, 97, somewhere in there.
Late 90s.
But they've kind of had ownage over the Dodgers, and it's tough to take it but there's been some really bad Angels teams and some really good Dodgers teams over the years. And the fact that the Dodgers actually have a losing record to the Angels surprised me. But it seems like it's happening.
Well, this year they swept them in LA in a 3-game set. They kind of pummeled them last night. But really, the score looked better at the end of the game because they hit a couple of home runs. But it was a pretty brutal game for the Dodgers.
I mean, I think going into yesterday, I would have thought there was no shot that the Padres could actually have any sort of lead in the National League West heading into the Padres-Dodgers series this weekend. Now I think it's realistic, especially with all the off-the-field drama with Shohei Ohtani. Did you see this one?
I did see that.
Oh my! He's stealing money from Hawaii now.
This is
wow.
This is
sorry. His agent everyone around Shohei's the ones who get in trouble, not actually Shohei.
But yesterday what we were talking about is, could this be a trap
His
series?
interpreter's in jail right now.
Could this be a trap series for the Padres against the Giants? You're playing a NL West foe who has really struggled recently and who cannot hit. I mean, the hitting for the Giants
so bad.
is inexplicable. I don't even know what's going on there. It's kind of a shame for Giants fans because the pitching actually is a staff that you look at and could be really good going to the playoffs, but the hitting is so bad. They gave up prospects to get Devers. But the Padres took that game seriously last night, and it felt like the Dodgers came out and were kind of sleepwalking, thinking, hey, it's the Angels, it's the little brother in the city. Who cares what the Angels? The Angels were out there to ball. The Angels looked like they really wanted to kind of prove a point. And, I mean, you got Sheehan going for the Dodgers tonight. They're favored. This is probably, it's a pick 'em on the money line right now. Robbie Ray's a really good pitcher for the Giants, but Cortez looked nice in his last outing, gave up a few early runs and was kind of able to weather the storm a little bit. So, I mean, if you could go in the series tied or feels very manageable, if you could go up a game, I mean, that seems kind of unfathomable that the Dodgers would get swept all the whole series. But if that happens, I mean, you're sitting in a pretty spot heading into a massive playoff implication weekend. That's pretty fun in the middle of August.
Friday's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for that series. We'll see where the two teams end up by then. But go Angels, I guess is what everyone here is saying. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Quick break. Your texts have been rolling in about fantasy football this year. Who is the consensus number one overall? Because I think there's about 5 names you could put right there. Let's hear from you. 70470. Start your message with team fantasy football stuff next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. It's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Give Gary a call today at 858-376-1299 because from what I hear, Gary, you got a pretty good opportunity for people.
I do. It's actually a lot of land, and it's located on Elena Lane in Vista, and it's definitely a must-see lot at the end of a cul-de-sac with plenty of space to build. The seller already has a soil study, surveyor, topography map, grading plans for a 2,000 square foot manufactured main home with a 2-car detached garage, and there's room for a 1,200 square foot ADU. Sewers in the street and ready for lateral hookup. Property already has a water meter on it. Gas utilities are at the property line. And there, even on the street, you can see the visual spray paint on the street with the markings outlining all the utilities locations. So this is like a really good lot. It's already pretty flat and it's ready to be built on. And we're offering it at $316,000.
Find it online today at mountaintrustrualty.com or give Gary Cooper a call, 858-376-1299, and tell him that Fletch sent you.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres back tonight for Game 2 against the Giants. That game gets going at 6:45. San Francisco is currently favored by -115, which is essentially a pick 'em. Nestor Cortez, the newly acquired Padre, will be going for San Diego, while Robbie Ray, who brings a record of 9-5 with a 2.85 ERA, will be going for the Giants. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
We got a couple shout outs to give. Tyler on YouTube saying, good afternoon, everybody. What up, Tyler? Thanks for being here, man.
Tyler.
Dave saying, if I'm paying for high price seats, I'm acting up a little bit. I don't hate that. Look, I just had to put the game on mute last night for a while. I'm sure I'm not the only person, but go cheer for the Padres as loud as you want. We always like that. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00. John and Jim will take over then. Sammy and I were just having a conversation during commercial break that it's kind of crazy that the two biggest stories in the sports world right now, I guess we could add one with Shohei Ohtani and somehow another person taking the fall for whatever Shohei's doing, allegedly. But the two biggest stories in the sports world right now are Taylor Swift going on Travis Kelce's podcast to announce her new album, the 12th album she's done, I guess. And that's out now. Sammy, is it out now or is it?
I don't know. I think she just announced it. I don't think it's coming out today.
Okay. But it was huge last night. Millions of views right away. As soon as they Taylor Swift dropped one F-bomb and all of a sudden the world goes crazy. And then the second biggest story is John Mateer, college football quarterback, and
dude, that's crazy.
Arch Manning, their Venmo history has been released. Like Arch Manning, it's a big deal. And all sorts of weird captions and phrases. I think butt stuff was one of them. Arch Manning set a payment for, and then the John Mateer one was he's literally said betting on USC football.
He said he literally put betting. This is for betting on USC UCLA. Like you could not be more obvious. And then he came out today. And so John Mateer, for those who don't know, Washington State quarterback, he transferred to Oklahoma.
He was supposed to play in the Holiday Bowl last year, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to be because he got that Oklahoma offer.
Right.
So, and he's one of the top Heisman runners, actually. So this is like a big deal. He literally put betting for USC UCLA, and then he tried to come out today and be like, oh, it's an inside joke with me and my boys.
Which it could be. I mean, who knows, right? There's no proof that he was betting, but that's certainly self-indicting. But the fact that 22-year-olds are in college football, ridiculously famous. Arch Manning's not even 22. But the fact that these guys, all their history is going to be shown. It's got to be hard as hell to be a college football quarterback with a huge profile. I think about some of the stuff that I was doing in high school, that I was doing in college. If that was public record, I'd be screwed. I'd be toast. I'd be done. But this is very funny that these are the two biggest stories.
I would not be like living. It's because the thing with like professional athletes, like if you're an NFL star, an NBA star, MLB star, you're not living. If you're a star player, you're not living with like you and I. Like you're not living with around like a bunch of just like kind of regular people. You're living in super rich neighborhoods in certain areas where it's different. Like college kids, they're like walking to class. Like
you're with your boys.
You might be lit now. I don't think Arch Manning's living in a dorm, but like you could just be on San Diego State, like just walking around. You could be like this big basketball star. So it's kind of a weird situation where you get stuff like this.
It's hilarious. First and foremost. Secondly, these kids, if you're in college and you're high profile enough to where everybody around the country knows your name, like an Arch Manning,
make your Venmo private.
And yeah, you got to hire somebody to scrub you every little bit, like every 10 days or so. Someone's got to go through and just take everything off the internet, or just stay off the internet completely and let other people write about you. I don't know what the right fix would be for something like that.
We're going to get to fantasy football.
How about you don't Venmo someone and call it butt stuff?
Yeah.
All right, that's a pretty easy fix.
Crazy thing to say. But remember Trevor Lawrence, when he was getting drafted, he was like playing basketball at like a pickup, and he kind of got into it with someone, which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Sammy got kicked out of a basketball game.
I got kicked out of a men's league game a couple weeks ago. and this is like on TMZ 2 hours later, like literally. And he's just like, it's like a cat, like you wouldn't even think twice of it, but it's Trevor Lawrence fighting someone at a thing. So it's,
crazy world. It's a crazy world, man. Sammy, you might want to go ahead and scrub your internet history. I don't know. People might be trying to find you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's too late for me. I already got kicked out of men's league, and yeah. So
all right, we were talking about it. Who the number one overall pick is going to be in your fantasy football draft? I know I got one coming up next week. That's our rookie draft because it's a dynasty league, so you're only taking rookies every year. And then I got 2 in the weeks coming right after that. So everyone's in this situation right now. Everyone's going to start listening to the podcast, trying to figure out their draft board, trying to go download some cheat sheet off the internet somewhere that you have no idea if it's right. But if someone else said it, it must be right, right?
Because the internet's always right.
Correct. So 760 comes in and says, draft Chase, number 1 overall, the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver. Running backs are deep this year. Caleb Johnson, Trayvon Henderson, Hampton, so many really good running backs, only so many great wide receivers. There's something to that. I have heard the 0 RB draft is very popular this year, where you're taking wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight end before you take a single running back. Risky.
I see. Okay, so I like the thought here. If you're number 1 overall, you take Jamar Chase. The problem, though, with all these guys, like Caleb Johnson's a nice play, but it's not necessarily guaranteed he's going to start. Trayvon Henderson is also sharing a backfield in New England.
But most backfields this year are going to be shared. So unless you get one of the top 2 or 3 choices, and even like a Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a top pick in fantasy, has David Montgomery, who's going to get as many snaps as him this year. So it's tricky when you're looking at like, who is the top running back this year? Who's guaranteed to have the lion's share outside of Derrick Henry?
Well, that's so this other text, 858, depends on your league settings. Standard PPR pick. A 1 is always Jamar Chase, but it's half PPR than Bijan Robinson. I was arguing with someone about this yesterday because to that point,
PPR, by the way, is points per reception. So you get a point every time your receiver catches a ball, regardless of the yards.
So if you're, if you're in a PPR league, a guy like Keenan Allen would become a lot more valuable, or Jarvis Landry back in the day, who just was
10 catches a game, only 25 yards.
Yeah, but he would get 10 points off those receptions. If you're not, those guys become less valuable. In terms of the running back, it's interesting because Saquon was the superstar last year, and you think in that offense, nothing's changed, but he has had a massive injury history. So are you really going to roll with him? Like they used the hell out of him. He didn't get hurt all last year. Kind of felt like the perfect storm for him. Bijan Robinson is weird. Like on paper, you take Bijan because he has everything he wants. Penix is the quarterback now, probably going to be relying heavily on a run game. Now, I don't know how many games the Falcons are going to be leading in where they might have to, but he is good receiving out of the backfield. So there's like that thing, but Bijan hasn't quite lived up to the expectations. Like all the running backs at the top, there is something with them that you kind of take pause with.
Yeah, I love a Josh Jacobs out of Green Bay because Josh Jacobs will get the majority of the goal line work, and he's at least a 2-down back on every single possession. I really like a James Cook out of Buffalo because if he's actually playing, he did practice today, which is a good sign for James Cook. But James Cook is one of those guys who, if Josh Allen's not running the ball, it's probably James Cook. And then they'll bring in that Ray Davis guy, the rookie from a year ago, as their 3rd down back. So James Cook has a ton of value. The big question mark for me in the running back game is how is Ashton Jancy going to be used? Is Ashton Jancy someone that Pete Carroll's going to use like he used Marshawn Lynch? Because if that's the case,
he could be a top 5 pick.
He might be the number 1 overall pick if we knew how he's going to get used. But you watch Ashton Jancy in the preseason, not that preseason means anything, and he looked incredibly average. So this is a fun year for fantasy football. I love drafting the wide receivers early because there are only a few of them at the top. When you think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, even still up there, maybe a little downgraded this year. But there's only a few elite wide receivers, and there is a pool of running backs. Considering most running backs are going to be in some sort of time split, you're not going to have those clear number 1s.
And even with every one of these guys, if you look at the most draft boards, so Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley. Justin Jefferson is a brand new quarterback. So if I'm drafting Justin Jefferson, I'm going, that's me believing in JJ McCarthy, because I would be, if I don't believe in JJ McCarthy, I'm not taking Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase is the surefire, probably the safest pick. But then again, you're talking about a team that also is feeding T. Higgins. I know he was feeding him last year, but T. Higgins, Yoshi Voss came up last year. So you normally you wouldn't draft a number 1 receiver that has that many other good players on the offense where they're going to have to feed. And then like Jahmyr Gibbs, like how do you affect that? Because he's a superstar. I had him last year. He was fantastic, but brand new offensive coordinator. Is Dan Campbell taking more of a pass first approach? Like what's going on there? There's not a number 1 pick this year that you can go, I think that's the easiest pick in the class. Like, even though McCaffrey got hurt a few years ago, leading into that season, it felt like it was McCaffrey and everyone else because of the way that they used him. I'm curious. Quickly before we go to break, I told you about this yesterday. We're starting you've been in a guillotine league?
Yes.
Is it fun?
I just know what you said for me yesterday.
If anyone's been in a guillotine league, text us 70470. Start your message.
It would be fit unless you get chopped like week 2.
But so I was reading up on this. It's how you change the way you draft. So if you're in a guillotine league, like James Cook would not be valuable because if he if he doesn't play the first
Right.
couple weeks, you could be screwed. So you take more, instead of like regular fantasy football where you take more high upside guys who are maybe going to pop later on, you take guys who are just stable, maybe get you 12 points a game every week. And then the team that gets eliminated, all their players go to the free agent pool.
Can I tell you a sleeper who I love this year?
Oh,
Nick Chubb.
really? Even after the injuries?
Horrifying injury where his knee basically exploded on the field, but has been trying to get back. And the Houston Texans took a little bit of a risk, but it's kind of a barren backfield in Houston. Dameon Pierce is still there, but it's not like they have anybody who's really popping. Nick Chubb, if he can get back from injury and look like Nick Chubb, all of a sudden that's a guy you're picking up in the 5th round who's going to be dominant, potentially.
That's interesting.
High upside, though, not for a guillotine league.
I like that. I also like going to Miami, Devon Achane. It feels like everyone people way overdrafted him last year. Like it was like he was kind of he's a speed demon. He's going to be in that offense. And that offense totally got screwed because Tua got hurt. Now, not saying that won't happen again, unfortunately, but if he's in that offense, it feels like Tyreek Hill possibly on the move. There's a lot of rumors going on there. There could be a massive hole for Devon Achane. And I think that assuming Tua is healthy, that offense will just be better and the defense is not going to be as good. So they're going to need to score more
Don't
points.
be a guy that takes a quarterback with your first overall pick.
I was in a league one time where that happened.
I've been in those leagues too, and it's always fun when your friends do it. Just don't do it yourself unless it's one of those leagues that have it set up to where quarterbacks get extra points per pass completion or something. Then they become insanely valuable. 949 saying you should do a Fletch Zone fantasy football league with top listeners.
Ooh.
League winner gets a prize to be named later. Here's what I'll say. If someone else sets it up, I'm in. I'll draft a team. I'll do it. Someone else has to set it up, though.
That's interesting. That would be fun.
Sam,
I'd
you
love
want
to
to set it up alongside the 949? You guys do something?
So I would love to do it. The problem is I run like 5 fantasy football leagues.
Oh, Commissioner Sammy over here.
I'm a good commissioner.
Too
I
busy.
lay the law down.
949, if you want to set something like that up, I'd be happy to jump in. I don't know that we could do any sort of cash prize or anything because of rules,
Stupid legality
laws,
stuff.
and legal. But we could do something fun. Maybe like Sammy and I'll take you out to get burritos if you win. Something like that.
Steak 48 on Fletch.
Pause. No. Rewind.
Del Mar, order the nicest wine, whatever you want.
How do you say that pitcher's name who ends with Walker?
We're not going to do that 2 days in a row.
Speaking of which, long shots coming up next. Rough night, man. We're going to blow right past it. It's one of those like a baseball game. You just got to flush it and forget it. That's what we had yesterday.
Quacktown Padre said he's setting it up right now.
All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. Long shots next, live on the iHeartRadio app. It's Fletch for Prize Picks. Look, we were just talking about fantasy football. It's that time of year. Everyone's getting together, starting their draft process and everything. Why wait the 22 days left until the football season to get some daily fantasy action going? Prize Picks is your spot to do that. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Fletch is my last name. So FLETCH. That's going to get you $50 in lineups. It all feels right in the world now that we have football back on our TVs. Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, they are all set to take this year by storm. And if you got the skills, you can win money just by picking more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections for every game this football season. By the way, college and pro, you can win up to 2,000 times your cash. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app because of the promotions. It has made this baseball season so much more fun because, by the way, the San Diego Padres, their official daily fantasy sports partner, is Prize Picks. Taco Tuesdays, Flex Fridays, they're going to keep you coming back for more all season long. Plus, Prize Picks invented the Flex Play, which means you don't even have to be perfect to still double your cash. Prize Picks is the best way for you to win real money this football season, the rest of this baseball season. So what are you waiting for? Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And as always, it's Prize Picks. Run your game. San Diego Sports 760. I don't know if you know this, but we are an AM radio station, meaning you can find us on 760 AM in your cars as you're driving around San Diego. And AM radio helps keep vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. I'm going to say this very, very quickly so we all can just forget it and move on. And Sammy, I'm going to ask you to stay quiet on this one. 0 for 3 last night, but today's a new day. It's a brand new day.
You're going to dog me and then...
It's a brand new day. That's all we're looking for. We're just looking for a fresh start here on August 12th. I feel good about it. Lots of people going back to school this week. It's a fresh start for everybody. You remember that first day back at school? It's like you get to reinvent yourself every single year. If the previous year didn't go the way you wanted it to,
not with social media.
On day one, yeah. Just don't Venmo anyone for butt stuff. On day one of your new school year, you could be the coolest guy in school.
I want someone to ask Arch Manning and go, hey, when you Venmo'd your boy for butt stuff, what did that mean? If I'm sorry if you're listening in the car with your kids right now, just a little context.
Kids are back to school. We're good. Arch Manning, his Venmo history got leaked, or someone just dug a little bit and found it. But this text from the 619 basically sums up how I think about it. 619 says, I love the Arch Manning stuff. I basically put something inappropriate for the explanation every single time I use Venmo. It makes me laugh knowing that someone will see it.
It is fun. It is funny when someone, because it is odd. Like if you're not private on Venmo,
all of my Venmos have been private.
See, I need to do that.
I hope.
Well, hit a Venmo and I'll see, because it is weird that people can just like see, like people will put like, oh, bars or pizza, blah, blah, blah.
I usually do something pretty funny. I try to do something that's going to make my buddies feel uncomfortable, which I bet you is what Arch Manning was doing. So there's that. But now it's time for long shots.
But when you're real quickly, when you're the number 1 overall quarterback recruit, like, let's be a little smarter.
He probably wasn't at the time.
But he's been the number 1 recruit for years.
Right, but he was probably at that time, he was like Cooper Manning's kid, who's like the nephew of Peyton and Eli. At the time, he was probably 16 years old saying, this would be funny to send to Jeff, my buddy from chemistry. Like,
Jeff,
oh, yeah.
Jeff, his buddy from chemistry.
Jeff, you bought me 2 slices of pizza for $6. Here's a Venmo. Butt stuff.
Crazy.
It sucks that now he's getting blasted for this, but it comes with the territory. All right, Sammy, let's get to long shots. Time to smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's all. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
All right, our buddy Dave is chiming in on YouTube saying Jerks and Profar more than on hits versus the New York Mets. They've been on a losing streak. Trey is saying first time catching you on YouTube, always listening while I drive for FedEx.
Shout out to Trey, man.
Shout out FedEx. My packages always get delivered on time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what's Amazon? FedEx. What's UPS? FedEx.
No, I like them all, but yeah. Shout out FedEx.
Oh, are they sponsors here?
Specifically Trey. Really like Trey.
Yeah, Trey's a G.
Trey, thanks for being here, man. We appreciate it. Sammy, where are we going today?
Guess what? We're starting in tennis. We need to mix things up a little bit. The mojo has been a little bit off with
tennis.
Hold on. Give me a second. Gosh.
You were on fire with tennis picks.
Remember my tennis picks? Novak was very nice for us, as well as Carlos. Guess what? Very exciting. Nice little precursor to the NFL season. Some people may care, some people don't. The US Open starts on Sunday. And I don't know about you. I'm into golf right now. I'm into tennis. I'm into anything that can supplement baseball on our way to the NFL. Okay? U.S. Open starting. This is the an event going out in Cincinnati right now. Now, I don't know if you saw this last night on SportsCenter. This is kind of a crazy thing. Arnia Sabalenka is the number 1 women's tennis player in the world. She was playing this other player last night, and there was a kid crying in the stands. There was a kid crying, and tennis is obviously very quiet when they're hitting. The other girl had her removed from the premises because of the crying kid was distracting her. I got to get her name. I'm forgetting her name right now, but she played someone. It was early in the day in Cincinnati yesterday.
You know what? I'd like to remove the tennis player for going,
This is a hypersexual segment. Okay. But Arnia Sabalenka, anyway, in that game though, she got pushed to the third set. So I think in this one, she's playing Jessica Abusas today, or Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. We're going to go less than 19.5 total games. You see this a lot with some of the top tennis players. Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Arnia Sabalenka. These easy early rounds, they're breezing through it, and they're kind of just going through the motions. Sometimes they get taken a couple extra sets. But I like Sabalenka to lock in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., 19.5 total games, less than.
That was 2 minutes of tennis talk. What's next?
Shout out to we love some tennis here. Paul Skeens against Milwaukee. Now, his numbers at 7 pitcher strikeouts. I'm going to go more than. Maybe people are going to go, Sammy, you're an idiot. You're betting against the hottest team in baseball on a 10-game win streak. But I think Paul Skeens is that kind of pitcher that elevates to the kind of talent that they're at. I mean, Paul Skeens is a fantastic pitcher that has prime location. If you're the Pirates, this is the only shot to really win a game because you need Paul Skeens to be an absolute beast on the mound today. He's hit 8 strikeouts in each of his last 2 games. I expect him to go a ways in this game because the Pirates can't hit. They're a lot like the Giants. They cannot hit, and they need Skeens to go a ways. So I think 7 pitch strikeouts. I do think he gets it. This number is usually for Skeens at 8. So they dropped it 1 because he's playing the Brewers. I'm betting on Paul Skeens tonight. More than 7 pitcher strikeouts. And then we're going to Houston and Boston. Dustin May, more than 16.5 pitching outs. Dustin May's been an odd pitcher. He got traded from the Dodgers to the Red Sox a few weeks ago. Now, his problem has been he's had awful first innings. Really bad starts to the game. His ERA in the first inning was like 7 at one point, but he actually usually gets control through the rest of the game. He only had 4 strikeouts in his last outing and 3 before that. So we're going to stay away from the strikeout total, which is at 4.5. We're going to go 16.5 total outs. I know Houston's a good team. They lowered it from 18.5 because Houston's a good team. I think he goes more. I think he goes a little bit of ways in this game.
5 2/3 innings. That's what you need.
I think Dustin May goes 5 2/3.
Okay.
So, and Dave, this is Dave's pick. Dave likes over on Profar hits, which I do like that. The only problem is their only option is a Red Demon, and I think for some mojo back, we need to stay away from Red Demons right now.
I'm taking it, Dave. You're not going to be the one that lets us down.
Paul Skeens, that's foul. The way you just worded that. Paul Skeens, more than 7 pitcher strikeouts. Dustin May, more than 16.5 pitching outs. And Arnia Sabalenka, wake up for that tennis, baby, on the tennis channel. Less than 19.5 total games. I think she gets a clean sweep in the first 2 sets.
I'll be honest, the Profar one scared me off, so I don't think I'm doing it.
Dave, I like where your head's at, but Price Picks is not offering a friendly number for Profar.
No, I don't like it. He's off the juice, man.
That catch was nice, though, on Sunday.
Yeah, but he's off the juice.
One more time, if you didn't hear it. Skeens, more than 7 pitcher strikeouts. Dustin May, more than 16.5 pitching outs. Arnia Sabalenka, tennis player, less than 19.5 total games.
Hour 2 is coming up next. We got a brand new big 3 for you. We got Kevin Acee coming up in hour number 2. We are just getting started today on a Tuesday. Stick with us. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sports sponsored by Lexus Carlsbad. Experience auto enjoyment. Padres back for Game 2 against the Giants tonight. That game will be at 6:45. Nestor Cortez will be on the mound for the Padres, who's currently 1-1 with a 7.11 ERA. And Robbie Ray will be going for the Giants, who is currently 9-5 with a 2.85 ERA. The Dodgers will be taking on the Angels today. If the Dodgers were to lose and the Padres were to win, they would be tied for atop the NL West, even though the Dodgers would have the tiebreaker currently. Right now at Lexus Carlsbad during the Golden Opportunity Sales Event, save with lease specials on new Lexus ES and TX models. Not all buyers qualify. Limited terms on approved credit only. Offers end soon. Details at LexusCarlsbad.com or visit Lexus Carlsbad today.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
No fluff, just facts.
Taween Walker.
And this is knucklehead talk.
What are you laughing about over there?
Say that name one more. Did you say Taween?
I don't know. It's Tajeen Walker.
What did he say?
I'm going to mess that up, okay? Now I'm losing credibility.
We're going to need a full recap because everyone stopped listening after you said Taween Walker.
I think that's his name.
No, it's Taiwan Walker.
It's
Pronounced like a
Taiwan Walker.
necktie. Juan. Yes, it's Taiwan Walker.
Get out of here. There's a J in it, bro.
There's also a J in Juan.
How am I supposed to know that?
English, do you speak it?
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Flex Zone.
Yeah, it's San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. That will never fail to bring a smile to my face. I promise you that. It is San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee is going to be jumping on the show at 1:30 for our weekly chat with our Padres insider from the San Diego Union Tribune. And vibes are high for the San Diego Padres right now. 12 of their last 15 have been wins. They got a weekend series with the Dodgers coming up, and we'll see where the NL West looks like after that. But as of right now, the Padres 1 game back of the Dodgers in the division. Things are looking good in San Diego Padres land as we sit here today. Nestor Cortez on the mound tonight for the Padres, his second start in a Padres uniform after the first one went very well. And if you're looking at what went down last night, great to see Freddie Fermin continue his hot start since joining the Padres, hit a nice little homer last night. Great to see Yu Darvish getting business done on the mound. Now, the caveat is it was the San Francisco Giants lineup, so who knows how much you really take from that. But Yu Darvish worked late into a game. Padres bullpen only had to burn 3 innings, and it was the A team out there. Estrada, Miller, and Suarez, who closed that game down. None of them really had issues last night. Miller striking out all 3 batters he faced. So good vibes with the Padres. Game 2 against the Giants tonight. Dodgers struggling with the Angels in game 1. We'll see what happens with those 2 teams tonight as well before this Friday appointment where the 2 juggernauts of the National League West will face off with each other, deciding a lot this weekend. I really think that's the case, especially if you start to do the math on the tiebreakers and stuff. Right now, we're going to get to the big 3 of hour number 2. We got tons going on in college football. We got a lot going on in the world of Major League Baseball off the field that is head-scratching, to say the very, very least. So, Sammy Long, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the top 3 stories in the sports world right now. Smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, Sammy, where are we going with hour number 2?
Let's start with Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani and his agent, another odd story, accused of sabotaging a $240 million Hawaii real estate project. So a Hawaii real estate investor and broker are suing Shohei Ohtani, claiming the Los Angeles Dodgers star and his agent got them fired from a $240 million luxury housing development on the Big Island's coveted Hapuna Coast that they brought him in to endorse.
And of course, Ohtani had nothing to do with this. It was all his agent, right?
They haven't responded to it yet, but yeah, I'm assuming that's probably what they're going with.
All right, it's a little coincidental, isn't it, that Shohei Ohtani, now his name has been attached to trouble twice, but both times there's been someone else attached to it. Ippei Mitsuhara is currently in jail. Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter for that gambling problem. And then this one, which I'll be honest, I haven't done the deep dive on exactly what it is, but it sounds like Shohei Ohtani and his agent were using the celebrity status to artificially raise up a price on some housing development out in Hawaii. And this is now getting him in trouble once again. He's being sued. Nothing criminal, I don't think, as of right now.
No. I mean, if I was a mega baseball star, I would do stuff like this too to try to, bring the price down on housing developments. if we're being honest.
Well, he was brought in as like an endorser of something. Again, who knows what this is? It's just funny funny that Shohei Ohtani now twice has been in some massive scandal, but there's always someone there who's a little bit of a scapegoat, who's a little bit of a fall guy. So Shohei Ohtani and Rob Manfred gets to keep the golden child alive. And playing baseball for the Dodgers, the most profitable brand in Major League Baseball.
I mean, right, we'll see what happens. I certainly, if the MLB loses Shohei Ohtani, even though people don't like Shohei Ohtani down here, that would be a massive blow to a brand. I mean, hell, look at the ratings last year. The World Series between the Yankees and Dodgers was higher rated in Japan than it was in the United States. That's an insane thing to just think about. It is odd that there's so much kind of smoke where there's fire, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Here's the quote from the lawsuit. Balelo and Ohtani were brought into the venture solely for Ohtani's promotional and branding value, exploited their celebrity leverage to destabilize and ultimately dismantle the plaintiff's role in the project for no reason other than their own financial self-interest. The suit accusing Ohtani of tortious interference and unjust enrichment.
He's getting his bag.
He really is. Ohtani's making money.
Hey, you know the story of Ray Kroc when they got McDonald's?
Of course.
You know what he did? People think Ray Kroc, they're like, oh, he's an ass. Like, he cut the McDonald's brothers out. You know what I see with Ray Kroc? I see an innovator. Opportunistic man.
Sammy's an opportunistic man
listen,
as well.
do I fault Shohei Ohtani if he's doing this? If I was this rich, I'm going to be honest. I think you would see me on one of these things.
Do you think Shohei was completely innocent in the gambling scandal? Like Rob Manfred has come out and said Shohei was completely innocent.
Here's my only I don't know that, like, I didn't get into the whole the details of that. The one thing I would say, and I know people are going to go, oh, well, gambling addiction doesn't matter for how much money you have. If I'm making the amount of money that Shohei Ohtani makes, $700 million, that's not even counting the amount of, he was making $40 million a year in endorsement money with the Angels. That's not counting what he is with the Dodgers now. I don't think I would risk all that to bet on some games.
Well, how about Charles Barkley? One of the richest dudes in sports. Charles Barkley has a crippling gambling addiction.
Yes, but he doesn't have Shohei Ohtani money.
Dana White has Shohei Ohtani money and still is at the blackjack table all the time.
But he's just playing. He's just spending his money. He's not betting on his own fights. That would be the allure of that. Like, Dana White would never. Why would Dana White jeopardize his entire entity he has built? Listen, I'm not.
Dana White's interpreter does it for him.
Dana White. Let's head to the NFL. T. Higgins. Interesting quote here. Bengals have been highly criticized for getting off the slow starts to each of the last few seasons. T. Higgins says, I don't like the narrative that the Bengals have to get off to a hot start.
They better.
It's an odd saying coming from the guy who just got paid.
Say that one more time.
He said, per quote, I don't like the narrative that the Bengals have to, not in the past, have to get off to a hot start this season.
Okay, well, they do have to get off to a hot start this season. They play in a very good conference, which, by the way, the Ravens are in their division. So the Bengals need to get off to a good start, and that's been a problem. That was a bugaboo for them a year ago. They got off to a ridiculously slow start, and then it was touch and go whether or not they could potentially make the playoffs, even though they had kind of a hot finish last year. The Bengals are one of those teams that you feel like needs to get off to an early run. Let me pull up their schedule for their first few weeks.
They got the Browns, Jaguars, Vikings, and then Broncos.
Inexcusable for them not to get off to a hot start. Their first two games need to be wins, Browns and Jags. And then, look, Vikings is going to be a tough game, but we have no idea what J.J. McCarthy is. Broncos is going to be a tough game, but we really have no idea what Bo Nix is. We think that we know. We saw what he did a year ago. Everybody is crazy high on the Broncos for some reason this year. But T. Higgins, the Bengals need to get off to a hot start.
100%. And then if you look at the schedule after week 4, then it really picks up. Lions, Packers, Steelers.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean those are all three legit teams right there. This is an odd thing to say. Like, I get it. If you're a player, you don't like hearing the media narratives, but it's a fact. You guys have not had good records to start the season. You were 0-2 last year. I think you were 1-3 to start the year, or maybe 1-4 if I'm remembering correctly. Like that this is a team you had to compete all the way down the stretch. You had to hope that your rival, the Chiefs, started their starters in a meaningless game against the Broncos for you to get in. So, yeah, I think that if I'm a Bengals fan, I'd be frustrated right now. You just gave this guy a ton of money. The expectation should be that you have to start fast. The Bengals it's an odd situation. This quote coming out, not dealing with the Trey Hendrickson situation. Shamar Stewart finally got signed, but that took way longer than it needed to. It's just it's an odd thing with them, and it feels like there's kind of constantly excuses being made around everyone around Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow.
I would love for Joe Burrow to go to a different team.
Joe Burrow, like watching quarterback, like I got a lot of respect for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a guy you can tell is super committed to winning. And it feels like the organization and the team around him is more like, as long as I get my money, I'm fine.
You had a little Collinsworth to you right there. Joe Burrow feels like a guy.
Feels like a guy.
Feels like a guy.
Quack on Padres says I do the slide in. I do
you do the little Collinsworth slide. We got time for one more.
It's college. Let's head to college football. AP poll just dropped. Alabama, who is ranked in the top 10, just named Ty Simpson as their starting quarterback. What program towards the top 10, whatever program in college football has to win a title this year, or we can see major changes at the top? Has the most pressure on them?
Title. Okay. Well, Penn State is certainly in the conversation for having to win a title. I think we need to see that they're for real. I'd say Notre Dame has a ton of pressure on them this year. Give me Miami, who it feels like has kind of been flirting with getting back to that national prominence for a few years now, but they're in the top 10 still, right? Or were they right at 10?
They're 10.
They're right at 10. Miami, who it feels like has been flirting the last few years with really getting back to form. I think Miami, this is a big year for them. If we're going overall college football, they're not close to the top 10. This is a massive year for USC. Massive year for Lincoln Riley, who got paid a boatload of money to make sure that USC was back in the national conversation. And I think in the first coaches poll this year, they were down in the 60s. Like USC,
they're 30 right now.
30? Okay. So if USC, they need to find their way into the top 25. They need to find their way up this year in a big way.
Certainly Lincoln Riley has a lot of pressure, especially with the fact that you have the number one recruiting class coming into USC next season. If they put a clunker up this year, we see with the transfer portal and recruits, guys will leave. And the buyout, Petros came on our show, who actually will be coming on tomorrow at 12:30.
Petros Papadakis?
The great Petros Papadakis.
The old P?
The old P. Kind of highlighted that the buyout is so big that Lincoln Riley will probably be at USC for the next couple of years. But if they have a bad season, they got 5 wins, 6 wins, hanging in the middle of the Big Ten. A lot of these big-time recruits, which is why a lot of people are excited for next year for USC, are going to dip out. So I like the USC one. This top 10, though, looking at it like Penn State, James Franklin's narrative is that he always has solid teams, but he can't win the big game. You thought they were going to beat Notre Dame in the semifinal there. They lost that one. I think which in this team this year, Drew Aller is supposed to be a top pick at quarterback. Singleton as a running back spot. They have one of the best running back duos in the entire country. Clemson, Dabo Swinney's talking about how they're going to go 16-0. This is a guy who doesn't even use the transfer portal. So are you going to actually do it? Is Cade Klubnik the guy? You kind of pointed out Miami. That's interesting. They got Carson Beck there. And a couple of these teams like Miami, Florida's at 15, Miami's at 10. Are they back? Like Texas, Florida, and Miami and USC has been the four kind of programs. It's like they once had such dominant relevance. And are they back? Well, Texas is number one in the country. They're the first team since 1978 to be ranked number one and be an underdog in their first game. So Sark's got a ton of pressure there. But like, is Florida back? Is Miami back? And then LSU, I think, is the last one with Brian Kelly. Same thing when they signed Lincoln Riley to go to USC.
What up, Tiger family?
Yeah, he's at the basketball game doing the Southern accent. At LSU, they expect championships. And at some point, you're playing Clemson on the road in week 1. You got to win a big game because Brian Kelly has not lived up to his Notre Dame status.
I miss Coach O at LSU. That felt right. If we're looking at other teams like honorable mentions, I do think that there's a sneaky amount of pressure on Deion Sanders this year at Colorado.
Totally.
Because his people are gone, right? Now, this is his chance to actually be a college football head coach and not be the kind of director of a dog and pony show. And I think at North Carolina, Bill Belichick does have some pressure on him to show that he could do it at the college level as well. And by the way, North Carolina's schedule is a cupcake.
Totally. Especially so both of those guys, Deion Sanders, I know we're going to get to break here, but Deion Sanders has been hyping this team about how this is a team that is people going to shock people. So I agree with that. They didn't win a lot at Colorado. It was just a big story. And the North Carolina, the NFL told you, Bill Belichick, they didn't want you. That they screamed that for 2 years. They could have had you. They didn't want you. Now you're in college. If he has a big season, does he become kind of a big-time college coach, or does he go back to the NFL? If he puts up a clunker, everyone's going to go, look, this guy can't even coach a football team anymore with all the kind of stuff going on off the field. So, interesting year.
What's going on off the field with Bill Belichick?
His 24-year-old girlfriend.
Oh, that one?
You see her at practice?
No, is she at practice?
No, I'm not kidding you. She's walking around practice. She could be a cheerleader.
There's going to be a play in their system called the Jordan. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Kevin Acee at 1:30. We'll get back to some Padres coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Fletcher and I are going to Vegas in, what is this, 8 days? Next Wednesday. Super excited. So we're going to both sign up for Circa Survivor and Circa Million. Let me tell you about Circa Million first. Circa Million is where you pick 5 games against the spread each week. If you think you know more than the books over the entirety of the NFL season, play Circa Million. It's $1,000 to enter. You get 10 of your friends going 100 a pop, or you can go all in the 1,000 yourself. That's nice. You have season-long fun with the NFL. Maybe your team's out of it. Maybe you're like Fletch and you're the Niner fan. You think, hey, maybe our season's over by week 4. Then it gives you something to really go for the rest of the season. If opening week, maybe you like Philadelphia to cover the spread against Dallas, -7. The Chiefs favored by 3.5 now after the Rashawn Slater injury over the Chargers in Brazil. Ravens, Bills, feels like Ravens plus 1.5 is free money to me on Sunday Night Football. And the Packers are favored by 2 at home against the Lions. Could take, if you're high on the Lions this year, them at +2. So anyway, what you got to do, don't listen to my picks. All you got to do is pick 5 games against the spread each week. If you like Circa Survivor, if you're a quality guy, not a quantity guy, you pick 1 game each week. You don't have to worry about point totals. You don't have to worry about the point spread. All you got to do is pick 1 each week. Once you burn a team, you cannot pick them again. The goal is to go 18-0 or outlast the entire competition. You can win up to millions of dollars in prizes, up to $21 million in total. You play both of them. Win your money now with Circa.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Sammy, are you a big Scooby-Doo fan?
Hell yeah.
Scooby-Doo live action series coming to Netflix. It's going to begin filming this fall. Who would you like to see play Daphne?
Daphne.
All of our first loves. We all know it's true.
You know what? I'm going to throw a wild one at you.
Hit me.
Dua Lipa.
Interesting. Not a redhead. But yeah, I guess you could fix that.
That's not a problem. You could dye anyone. That's not an issue. Who do you want to see play Daphne?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that hard ever since I've seen the news. I mean, you
don't want to see your wife, Kendall Fletcher, play Daphne?
She'd be the perfect Daphne, although Kendall, not the best actress in the world. Terrible liar. So it'd be tough. She just kind of giggles her way through a lie if she ever has to tell one. I would say maybe a Bryce Dallas Howard, who was the redheaded lady in the Jurassic World movies.
I see where you're at.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, there's some options out there. Text line 70470. Start your message with team.
I'm trying to think.
Do you remember the Scooby-Doo movies with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah.
God, those were so goofy, but I actually really liked them.
Well, Linda Cardellini was phenomenal.
She was the perfect Velma.
She was Velma. Who was Daphne in that one?
Don't remember. I think the girl that Freddie Prinze Jr. was dating at the time. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we dated like every girl in the 90s.
He really did. That man was prolific.
He was a prince, dude.
And he was Fred.
Damn, you put me on the spot with this. I
don't
really
know
want
that
some time to think about this.
There's probably not a better Shaggy live action than Matthew Lillard. I think that's his name.
He was great. Yeah.
The guy from Without a Paddle.
He was fantastic. So wait, a live action is like someone's playing Scooby?
Well, I'm guessing Scooby's going to be CGI. I don't think they're going to have someone in a dog costume. God, that was almost as bad as T1 or whatever you said Taiwan Walker's name was.
No, I was going to say you're like live action. I'm like, that feels like that could be some real problems there.
No, I don't think anyone is dressing up as a dog, Sammy. I think it's going to probably be a computer generated.
I'd like to see you play Scooby-Doo.
Ruh-roh. I think I could nail it. All right, Padres, something quietly kind of happening in the background here is all of a sudden, and remember we were talking about it last week when he got a day off, all of a sudden Fernando Tatis Jr. appears to be getting back to form a little bit. He had 2 more hits yesterday. He's starting to work his average up a little bit, scored that run yesterday. Fernando Tatis Jr. needs to get back into form for the Padres to get to where they want to go. And I think we're starting to see glimpses of it. His walk rate has been significantly higher this year. And I know Padre fans just roll their eyes whenever you say something like that. But it does seem like his plate presence is getting a little better. He's seeming more comfortable. Sammy's laughing his ass off. What did the text line say?
No. We'll get to that in a second.
Do you agree Fernando Tatis Jr. looks like he's getting back to form?
Yeah.
Should Fernando Tatis Jr. play Daphne?
Text line's going crazy right now. 70470. Start your message with team. But yes, Fernando Tatis Jr. is getting back to form. Well, that was kind of the real thing of the last week or two is that the Padres have been winning and playing really well, and Machado and Tatis weren't the guys that were doing it. So if you're thinking if that's what the Padres are counting on, the fact of their stars to be stars, Tatis and Machado to be play up to the capabilities that they can be, that's something that's really good to fall back on. Where the first half of the season, it felt like we were having to rely on guys that it's like, do they even have that in them to be that good at the back end of the lineup? And, Laureano and Fermin, all these guys have really come in and changed it. So yeah, listen, we were worried about yesterday is a potential trap series for the Dodgers. Looking ahead, that's the big showdown over the weekend in the MLB. But you're playing a division rival, the Giants, who they took care of last night. Got to have focus tonight, and I'm sure the Dodgers are going to come out locked in against the Angels after kind of getting embarrassed last night. But man, if you could tie this division for the weekend, that would be massive.
All right, we got some text rolling in. We got about 30 seconds to get them before we get to Kevin Acee. 619. I get in my car today, turn on the radio. The first thing I hear is one of you doing your quote tennis reenactment. I had to switch over to 5 minutes of some Christian rock to get back to normal.
That was Fletch, by the way.
It was me. It was 100% Fletch. I'll put my hand up on that one. And it was talking about tennis players' grunts. So what you heard or what you thought you heard might have been a little different. 949 Buffy was Daphne, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was, by the way, dating Freddie Prinze Jr. Nailed that one.
949 says Sabrina Carpenter as Daphne.
Not
solid
bad.
Choice.
858 Sydney Sweeney as Daphne, Zendaya as Velma.
Excuse me, get her name right, please.
As Velma, or AKA Mrs. Tom Holland.
Yeah, I don't think Tom's gonna be cool with that.
No, probably not. All right, we'll take a quick break. Kevin Acee on the other side. I'm sure Kev's got loads of Scooby-Doo knowledge.
We should ask him everyone wants to hear Padre talk, but if we ask him who should play Daphne in the Scooby-Doo film, I wonder what he would say.
Kevin wouldn't have an answer. He would say, Scooby-Doo, what is that, some kid show? Kevin Acee and Jim Russell are a lot closer than we give him credit for.
Well, Jim likes wrestling.
I know. Jim is
like
enigma.
Anime and stuff.
You will never figure Jim Russell out, I promise you. San Diego Sports 760, Kevin Acee next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Allstate. Padres back against the Giants tonight at 6:45. It's currently a pick'em on the money line. And per reports from Ian Rappaport, second year in a row, Rondale Moore, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, is out with a knee injury for the rest of the season. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
At San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. It's been an eventful show today. We've gotten into lots of Scooby-Doo talk, tennis grunts. We've done it all. Now it's time for Kevin Acee, my favorite part of the week every week. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
There is no way that I tennis grunts.
Yeah, do you have a good one?
You said I'm their favorite, and that just can't be true.
Yeah, do you have a good tennis grunt? We'd love to hear it.
No, but there are some good ones out there, and I'm fascinated. I'll have to go back and listen to that conversation. Let's not recap it right now. Let's talk about something else, but I'll go back.
Yeah, it was more giving examples of different tennis grunts, not necessarily attached to a single person. I was just delivering what I would do in a tennis grunt situation, Kev.
It wasn't pretty, Kevin.
I think it was beautiful. It was magical, and it was natural, which is what I like to pride myself on being. But Kev, let's talk some Padres. So yesterday felt pretty ideal for a team who they got solid innings out of Yu Darvish, 3 innings out of their bullpen. It feels like Mike Schultz would give up a lot to just have that happen night in and night out. But what did you see from the Giants offense, which seems to be absolutely terrible, or was Yu Darvish that dominant?
Yu Darvish was good. They got some good hitters in that lineup, but they stink. And this is a better lineup if you go and you look at the names, the Giants, than when we were here in June. And you're like, oh, okay, I can see where this is a dangerous lineup. And yet they're not doing anything, and especially at home, I guess. So it's hard to tell. But you did you did pitch very, very, very well. And like you said, then you get to Estrada at this point, who's probably pitching as well as he ever has. You get to Mason Miller, you're just not feeling good. And then, you got to score 3 off Robert Suarez, and, they didn't get anybody on. So it's pretty good.
Kevin, what do you see from the locker room in terms of, like, we were kind of worried about this being a potential trap series, kind of what you say in the NFL, trap game. Do they seem like really locked in? Because they looked like it on the field last night.
Yeah, hey, that's always a worry, I guess. But like, they were facing Logan Webb tonight. They're facing Robbie Ray. That's 2 reasons to be locked in. And they were 2 games behind the Dodgers. Now they're 1. They go face the Dodgers next. Obviously, we know what these 13 days are. And there's the history of this team. Once it gets going, these last 2 years, you don't really have that issue. So it never even really occurred to me, except John and Jim mentioned it yesterday as well. Because of all those factors, it just didn't seem like that was going to be an issue. And it wasn't. So they go out tonight and they lose 1-0. It still doesn't mean that. It means that when Robbie Ray is healthy, Robbie Ray is one of the best pitchers in the major leagues. But again, they are able to, more often than not recently, grind down pitchers, get to a bullpen, and get their work done. Of course, last night they did it all against a really good starter.
Kevin Acee, our Padres insider from the San Diego Union Tribune, joining us today like he does every Tuesday. Kevin, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Fernando Tatis Jr., to me, is starting to show signs that he's sort of becoming Fernando Tatis Jr. again. Now, you had an article, I think it was last week, kind of diving into the numbers of Fernando this year and maybe explaining some of the ways he's being pitched to differently and everything. But I've noticed a little jump in swagger since he got that day off last week. Have you noticed the same thing?
I guess it could be from that. I mean, there's a reason that he got the strategic day off that came before the team having a day off. I suppose he did go 0 for 5 the next night, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't have the swagger that night. Didn't look like it, but I mean, who knows, right? Yeah, I think that this season has been a process for Fernando Tatis Jr. And that process for a hitter, when you are facing different pitchers every night, really good pitchers. They're pitching you differently. It's not a linear process where we're all like used to like Tatis suddenly going on some sort of heater. That just maybe isn't going to happen this year. Or maybe it is, but like, yeah, it has been a strange saga for Tatis. It's pretty tough to look. He's not the guy. We've talked about that. I'm sure you guys have spent dozens and dozens of hours talking about him. He's not the guy that he has been, that he started out the season, that he's being paid to be. It's pretty rough to be too far down on a guy who's got a 410 on base percentage over the last month and a half. It's that's pretty good out of the leadoff spot. But we can say both things, that's pretty good. And yeah, he does need to get that swagger back and maybe, start hitting some home runs.
Kevin, what do you make of the use of the bullpen with there being really 5 high leverage arms now? Do you think Schultz using them a little too much, or do you think it's been good so far?
In a vacuum, like Fletch said, would love to have that be last night, but when Michael Keane comes back and goes to 2 1/3 or 2+, when starting pitchers aren't getting it done and wins are at a premium, and he does have 5 high leverage arms, then he has, and I know that like some people will be like, what are you talking about? But Wandy Peralta and David Morgan, I don't think he's using them too much. Is he using them a lot? That's undisputable. And he knows it. And that's why Mike Schilt, who doesn't allow anything, basically. And when he does, you should listen, because he makes a sport of saying nothing. When he talks virtually every night, be it as this is what we need, or this is what we need as positive reinforcement, like he did last night, he talks every game almost about we need more from our starting pitchers. So, yeah, I mean, he's using them a lot, but like they need the kind of outings they have got. The last 3 of the last 4 or something like that. Pivetta, Cease, Darvish, giving them 6. That's what they need.
All right, let's talk about Freddie Fermin, Kev, because last night he's the hero, has the home run. But what are pitchers saying about Freddie Fermin behind the dish? Does everybody love him as much as Padre fans have fallen in love with him?
Yes, sure. I'm not going to put too much stock in that at this point. I'm going to need some time to really jump into that. If you were Freddie Fermin's one of the pitchers for the Padres right now, and someone asked you, what would you say?
I'd say he does a hell of a job.
Yeah, really like him. Martin Maldonado was at least as good, if not better at that. I don't know, but there's a reason Martin Maldonado was around hitting 200. And actually not quite that until the end. Freddie Fermin is here because he is a good catcher. I know he's had some mix-ups but he's trying to get to know these guys. So there've been some pass balls, but he's probably a better defender than either one of the other 2 guys, is what I've seen and what I have been told. And look what he's doing at the plate. So yada, yada. Defense, handling the staff. But we'll also take a guy who, is actually productive in the number 9 spot.
Obviously, it'd be great for the Padres to win the division. They don't have to play a wild card series. But in your opinion, do you think this Padres team needs to win the division to go win the World Series, or can they get the wild card to do it?
I love your Sandy. You're just so direct, right? There's no black or white, there's no gray with you. Do they need to? No, they don't. The history is there. You phrased the way you phrased it. Yeah, it would be really good. I think it would be. There's almost not a way to quantify it in terms of rest, being able to set up your pitchers. And then it's just on you to stay fresh for 5 days, right? Like, the reality is it's only an extra day or 2 than what the wild card in terms of rest and, that kind of whatever you can say, explanation or excuse that some teams have given for, if you get the bye and then you get, beat and you get beat handily or whatever. And look, the playoffs are a crapshoot. There's absolutely no way to say, but I think you can say, and I think virtually everyone in the game would agree that having that bye is huge, or it should be if you take advantage of it.
Kev, how's AJ after that trade deadline? Did he need a week or two to kind of recover a little bit? Because it seems like he didn't sleep for a while.
Yeah, probably. But if anyone could handle it, it was him, and he thrives on it. I will say that it's he was tired, man. I love seeing him after the trade deadline because it's like a zombie almost, but still, whereas the rest of us would be like, you wouldn't even want to have us around or have us do simple arithmetic. He could beat any of us in chess or on no sleep for a week. He's an elite. He's part of the sleep elite, the kind of person that can get 2 to 3 hours and come out and kick the rest of our, behinds.
Yeah, Kevin does have an article up at the Union Tribune right now where he talks about, quote unquote, the room, which is where AJ Preller gets a lot of his work done out in Peoria. It's a good read, Kev. I really appreciate it. Thank you for putting that out there for us. Find Kevin's work at the Union Tribune. Now, Kevin, I do know last year was your first year in a long time, or maybe ever, playing fantasy football. Are you back in the league again this year?
No.
What?
No.
Do you want to be in a league?
I'm gonna go out on top. And yeah, I'm going to go out on top. That's it. I won. I'm done. No one can take that away from me. I'm a Sandy Koufax this thing. I'm walking away too early.
Well, that's no fun. Kevin, join mine and Sammy's league.
No, you guys would kill me. Look, let's be honest. I can talk about walking away on top. Look, you know where to go but down.
It's a very soft mentality, Kevin Acee.
Yeah, it is. It is. Plus, I am anticipating something of a playoff run, and to beat you guys I'd have to AJ Preller it.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have to be on it, and I just don't have that.
Kevin, it takes 5 minutes while you're on the toilet. Come on, Kev, you can say.
Believe me, I won a league doing that last year. I know.
All right, we'll let you off the hook. Any big thoughts on Scooby-Doo? They're releasing a new Netflix series. If not, you can just hang up now.
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
You're kidding me.
It's live action. There's going to be real people in it. Sammy asked if the dog was also live action. I don't think that's the case.
Wow. Hasn't there already been that? I mean, I'm not down on it. I'm just saying, look, I was big on Daphne when it was a cartoon. So, and I was 8 years old. So,
attaboy, Kev. Those are your big thoughts on Scooby-Doo. I'm proud of you. I also was in on Daphne, and I'm curious who they're going to get to play her.
Well, yeah, now it might be a little creepy, but I was 8 years old. I was like, wow, that girl.
Fletch is still very much into it.
All right, Kev. We'll see you next week.
I'll see you.
There he goes, Kevin Acee.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. The Players Place.
Kevin has a pulse, and he is a man, and he was into Daphne. You heard it here first. Daphne.
Dude, I can't believe you asked him that question.
What do you mean? What question?
No, his thoughts. I was for sure thinking in my head, I'm like, he's a 1,000,000% going to hang up.
Kevin?
Yeah.
I gave him out. He could have.
Yeah, no, that's why he did. I was like, oh, he's done. And then
if he would have hung up, I would have said, oh, Kevin is a fan of Daphne.
Yeah, I
didn't want to talk about it.
I was surprised that Kevin Acee was a real big Scooby-Doo supporter back in the day.
Oh, Kev loves Scooby-Doo. He's a big Casey Kasem fan. We've always known that about Kevin Acee. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. There is some news out there that's breaking late. We'll get to it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Prize Picks. Look, it is that time of year. Preseason football already underway. We are like a week and a half away from college football, folks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It all feels right in the world now that football is back. but we still got the baseball season left to go. We still have the playoff push left to go in baseball, and the Padres happen to have a daily fantasy sports app as their partner. That partner, Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code FLETCH, FLETCH. Get a $50 bonus in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app because of the promotions. I love the Taco Tuesdays. I love the Flex Fridays. And oh, by the way, since I have opened up a Prize Picks app, I have won nearly $5,000 on Prize Picks. You can do the same thing. If you got the skills, download Prize Picks. Use promo code FLETCH. I've been playing and talking about Prize Picks since November of 2023. You could be doing the same thing. Use promo code FLETCH, get that $50 bonus, and you can run your game all season long on my favorite daily fantasy sports app, Prize Picks. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, it's San Diego Sports 760, and it'll be SDFC Midweek Live. Hear from the head coach, Mikey Vadas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information. SDFC Midweek Live tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC San Diego Sports 760. By the way, some news that I had mentioned revolves around San Diego State's opener this year against Stony Brook, which is coming up in just a couple Thursdays. On the 28th, it will be broadcast locally television-wise. Of course, you'll hear it here on San Diego Sports 760 over on KUSI, just announced today. And J.R. Tolver, who is my partner on the pregame show for Aztecs football, is going to be doing the color analyst work. Good for J.R., good for KUSI. That's very, very cool. Also, breaking out of San Diego State football world, September 20th, they're playing against Cal this year. September 20th, they are going to be honoring and celebrating the 2015 Aztecs team that went 11-3, 8-0 in the conference to win the West Division of the Mountain West. And the honor warriors that night will be none other than Rocky Long, the former head coach, and Donnell Pumphrey, DJ Pumphrey, the ridiculous running back who in that game against Cal in 2015, they did lose that game, but DJ Pumphrey went for like 281 and a couple tutties. So DJ Pumphrey,
he was a beast in college. People don't give him enough love.
He was ridiculous. In fact, I just pulled up some of his stats. That 2015 season, DJ Pumphrey rushed for 1,653 yards, 17 touchdowns, also had 416 receiving yards that year. So he was over 2,000 all-purpose yards in 2015, was in the Heisman conversation, had a ridiculous season. He's going to be the honor warrior on September 20th when Cal is here playing against San Diego State. I'm getting so excited for college football, Sammy. I can't wait for those Saturdays. And there's a Thursday game for the opener, a Friday game this year, 2 bye weeks for the Aztecs. But I'm really pumped for my Saturdays to be revolving around college football once again. I know you are the same way.
Oh, hell yeah. And it's just cool week one. Like, I mean, overall, like usually week ones in college football suck in terms of it's like exciting. And then you're playing a bunch of like, there's like Alabama's playing a directional school, but this week week one, we have 3 top 10 matchups in the first week. That's not even counting. There's a couple other top 25 matchups. It's just exciting. It really feels like the college football playoff expanding has allowed teams to take some more risk and kind of go after teams where before it was criticism, Alabama would run the table and beat Georgia once a year and they'd be in the playoff. And it kind of felt like it was just the same schools getting in. It's really cool that we are that college football is changing. Trey sent a text in earlier, said Arizona State is a team to watch this year. A lot of pressure on them with Kenny Dillingham out there. So yeah, I'm super stoked for college football. I'm just stoked for football to be back.
All right, we got a bunch of texts that came in about our Scooby-Doo conversation just a while ago, and Kevin Acee adding to the Scooby-Doo conversation. One of my favorite moments of this year. Hey, I think it's already replaced T1 Walk. What'd you call him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You called Taiwan Walker something.
I don't
yesterday.
know what you're talking about.
And I don't remember how you pronounce it, but it was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. 703 saying Matthew Lillard was awesome in Scream. I think he's been in every Scream movie except Scream 2.
He wasn't in Scream 2?
No, he wasn't. And that was like a big deal. It was something to do with his contract. I remember that happening, but he's been in every other Scream movie.
They're getting Nev Campbell back for the new Scream.
And I think he's in the new one as well. Matthew Lillard is a super underrated comedy actor for me. I think that dude's hilarious. 858, you think Zendaya needs Tom's permission? She wears the pants in that relationship. And they're Armani jeans, not Levi's.
This text came in while AC was on the air, and I started laughing, and I had to try to get it together and turn my mic off.
If you're dating, is it Zendaya or Zendaya?
Zendaya,
you let her make all the decisions. And you're okay with that. So what if you're Spider-Man? Who cares?
Tom's pretty yoked out, though. Tom's got like a 12-pack.
They're filming the new Spider-Man movie right now.
Yeah, dude.
It's actually pretty cool. They're letting like fans into the area. It feels like this might be Tom's last crack at Spider-Man. He's been a good one.
Tom's been a great. Toby, though, is the real OG.
Yeah, I like to. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man.
We had a lot of topics today.
Who cares? Yeah, we've had fun. We're done for the day, though, so we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, there's a new Rambo coming out. That's the last thing I wanted to say. John and Jim are next. San Diego Sports 760. Bye.